Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. Definitely helps the channel grow. All right. So, yeah, I like the mono blue leaders. I like the draw concept. Well, not all mono blue leaders draw, but for the most part, it kills me that a lot of the decks are similar. As we're building, when the leaders do have a distinct difference, and I'll elaborate in a second. But it's just the pool that blue has to tap from. It's not strong enough. So I hate the overlap in a lot of blue decks. But what are you gonna do? So yes, this is our Boa build. We have a promo Luffy build, right? So, and then Croc builds, right? All three of those leaders are mono blue, but they're all different, right? The close similarity is Boa and Luffy, the promo blue Luffy, right? But Boa is all about just the effect of board moving happening allows you to draw. So it would encourage you to play events or just to make sure you have a lot of effects that can remove cards from the board, even if it fits your own, right? Then promo Luffy, because you need a smaller hand size and swing, he's more of an aggressive deck that probably would like to get his hand size reduced defensively, i.e. counter out, counter out, counter out. So the system would be different. Promo Luffy wouldn't be looking to play a bunch of bounce effects or whatever. It's just more about getting up in there. And then Blue Croc, I said it before, I'll say it again. His strategy is probably more likely to create an end game condition. So that way, because at best you're using his leader ability twice. Overall, that is. And if it's back to back, you better be closing that game out, because that's just too much of a Dawn loss, especially for a blue deck. So, yeah. I say all that to say you might see a lot of similarities when we're playing these blue leaders, but they are different because they have different strategies. You know what I noticed? A lot of people playing Sugar. A lot of people are playing Sugar. I wonder if we should just make a Sugar deck. Definitely gonna make a green Dofi deck. I to this day, I don't understand how that deck didn't have much relevancy. It's like a leader ability that legitly allowed you to always play a 2 Dawn counter event. Like you get what I'm saying? A counter event can never brick in your hand. You'll always be allowed to play it, right? So why? How? It just doesn't, the math just doesn't math in my head. So yeah, I just really feel like Green Dofi should have had more play. Now this Luffy, in my opinion, is fantastic. That's just, it's mainly just the rush that's happening. Low key, I thought we was gonna bounce back our own pudding, but we got one in our hand anyway. Look at their hand just gets stacked. That's the benefit of bouncing cards. It does set up for pudding pretty well. Yep, it's just, so it's like in this game, bouncing wasn't as effective as other games. You probably, let me think. Yu-Gi-Oh! At one point, compulsory evacuation device was putting in work. You got Duel Masters, you got Magic, and any other card game that I just don't know about that had bouncing effects. But in One Piece, it was very weak when it dropped. And thanks to Pudding, it's like, well, now you can kind of get rewarded. You get their hand size up by bouncing back their cards, and then boom, you just put it tight. Okay, the only removal we have, well, we got 2. Well, technically 3, but we got Luffy's ability, we got our 2K counter in our hand. But a lot of this is excessive. So thanks to Boa, this is more like a cycling type situation. So we can, I would go with the pudding. And then we could pick a card to bounce. We could just bounce our own pudding. And I was about to say, okay, use card action. What the heck? Well, we got another pudding. Well, okay then. So, yes, now we're cycling technically. So we could just keep discarding a card to dig into our deck thanks to Boa's ability. But this is kind of funny. Man, maybe we probably could have / should have played Doflamingo to rearrange the top 5. Is it off the board now? Just to move the Don. Oh, we're bouncing. Okay. But we technically gave them counter power by bouncing. It's crazy. We still got a pudding in our hand. Depending on what they do this play. Because, like, we can swing big at life. No, Sugar would most likely have an ability to be defensive. See, that card is underrated. That card is really good. Minus 3k, plus 3k. It's OD. That's interesting. So I guess you're going to use the leader to swing at the weaker Luffy. Isn't this dangerous? Could have just blocked and then forced them to make a Don play. Because it's like they would have had the Don X and then you could have countered out. And then that would have... Okay, now they just swing for 5 and you do that. I don't know. You know what? Maybe this is safer because it actually keeps our Luffys, both our Luffys on the board. When you think about it. Because if you would have blocked and then try to counter out if they swung on the... Oh, wow! That is a top deck. If counter out and then they could swing on the Luffy that's 5k thanks to the negative 3000. Okay, so maybe we're not looking to... Okay, we are going to bounce. Oh, and we get a blocker. Yeah, that's probably the better option. Because this is harder to protect against. So it might encourage a lot of cards out of the hand. Man, it would have been great to see a Dofi blocker on that board. Instead of like crapping out the whole hand that one play, we should just try to put a blocker on the board. Okay, interesting choice. There you go. Okay. I was like 1k out, I'm guessing. Give us a 2k or give us an event. They are thinking. I mean, it won't even be the end of the world if he was to take, but because we got one more swing. Okay, so they chose to counter out of this one. That was a good decision because you wouldn't know how much Don we would stack. You know, when you think about it. You wouldn't know if we would have just stacked all 3, swung, and then I would have took 2 cards out the hand. Or, okay, the 1 life. Maybe that worked. Maybe that was the more optimal situation. Yeah, no matter what, definitely going to lose 1. Because I can't see them not, swinging on it. Lucky for us, I don't think they play a rush card, but rush would give them such an advantage right now. I'm guessing that's the end of their turn. Oh no, more shenanigans. Played safe, get that off the board. Potentially go for a game at this point when you think about it. They are thinking, but they should have an event. Yeah, I'm like, your hand is full of cards. See, this is the problem with over countering. You see the game state that we're in? Players should have never, in my opinion, countered out like that. We should have set up for a Dofi blocker to look at the top 5, rearrange. Is this going to give us the game? 7K? Yeah, but anyway, countering out that much to save the 1. We could have just, like I said, used Dofi blockers to set us up with the red rocks. We would have got those things sooner, and then it would have just been boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? It would have been probably a more convincing game if we didn't counter out like that. Economically, sometimes it's just not. We got to think about it. What is going on? Okay, I guess it was just a tough decision, maybe. So the thing in our benefit is that they have 0 life, so they need a blocker, right? They need a blocker or really have to hope their defensive events is going to save them. We have 3 life, and they are at a particular game state where pretty much they're forced to attack our board. They're going for our board. Yeah, they got that. They got the Luffy. Okay. So either they're just going to be very reliant on the cards in hand. You know, this might give the game, but I probably would have just red rock that and just swung light. Well, not light, swung for 9. Okay, so they didn't have a handful of events. Good stuff, good stuff. I would have not called their bluff. I would have messed up in that one and I had not called their bluff. Look at the top 3. We bottom deck it. I ain't gonna lie. It seems acceptable to bottom deck, but then at the same time, I'm like, I would have loved to hit the 3-drop Dofi. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in a technical sense, it's not like we can't bounce our blocker back and, you know, be able to, they got aggressive on us. I feel like you could block it too. I was like, I feel like we could take and then just play our blockers, you know, get real defensive. They kind of messed up our setup. Since we don't have a card on the board, we can't just use law. So here's our blocker laws. 1-drop blockers, in my humble opinion, have great value. 5 swing, and based on how they're playing, I will not be surprised to see them Don stack on that Luffy. So the smart thing about the block is that if they wanted to be aggressive, then okay, they would just Don stack the Luffy, swing, and that ends their turn. You get what I'm saying? But it's like what you call it. If we didn't block, we would have took the life, then they just play the card or whatever. So the block, anyway, what I'm trying to say is the block potentially baits their that Don stack swing situation. It's like, okay, I know you're not going to develop board, but if you want to develop board, this ends here. Hopefully I made sense. Okay. The power of recycling your own drops. Early red rock. Are they going to use the basil? Oh, look at that hand. They better pray we don't see a pudding. They better pray we don't see a pudding. This is ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing. Hand size is too intense. Okay. I guess they're gonna just start high dropping us like crazy. Ten drop Kaido being relevant. You better counter out, and you didn't. So you must be throwing the game. Either that, if your hand's not a bunch of bricks, then you're throwing the game. You can play that. Well, Rush Luffy's pretty good. Are we going to use the ability? Get some counter power out of our hand. I mean, lack of counter power out of our hand. And hopefully draw into some counter power. Okay, we did. Now you want to counter out? You literally didn't think earlier in the game was better to counter out? Like, that's crazy. Come on, let's just see the hand. Let's see the hand. Yeah, what was your strategy? What was your decision making? Oh, okay. I mean, I'm assuming, but like, okay. Okay, so when it comes to yellow decks, if you have options to put cards in life, then you could be more reckless with it. But they could have had more life if they had counter out of other attacks, and then just, you know, keep doing these blocker plays. And that 8-drop Katakuri, you didn't need it. 7-drop, I don't know when you got your 7-drop Floor, but that probably would have been a better card to hit the board instead of 8-drop Katakuri. I mean, shoot, anything, because you could just turn whatever into a blocker. Probably should have just been doing that. Playing your lower drops, develop board, and then just turn them into blockers. Yeah, now you just got a back against the wall type situation. Now we get the pudding. Yeah, pick the 1-drop blocker. Okay, you gotta stop the attack first and then... Okay, I got you. That should force some cards out their hand. Wow, that's interesting. They just discarded the... Oh my god, that's disgusting. They should have discarded the ace, and then they could have played... I don't know. But no, that match should have been very different for that player. They didn't need to be so reckless. But then again, I don't know what cards they had at what point in time, so I can't judge it too much. But it did seem like they had the ability to counter out of a couple of swings early in the game, and that would have changed the whole tempo for them at least. they wouldn't have been so low in life at that point in the game. They would have had like 3 life, or like 3, maybe even 4 life cards available to them. But it would have just been play a card, turn it into a blocker, block, play a card, turn it into a blocker, just get things on the board. But yeah, and they had 2 Luffy searches, right? Oh, we getting rid of that Cavendish quick. Luckily, we have another red rock in hand. Because we saw that 9-drop Shanks in the trash, so we know they play it. Oh, carrot. Luckily, there's nothing on our board. I think that only protects... 1, I think it only protects rested characters, and then 2, it, it only does destroying effects. Dang. Neither player has a board. It's kind of funny. And then it's just the sheer fact that we draw every time we take something off of their board. It's like, oh no, let's get that off. Oh, let's bottom deck that. Oh, you know what? Let's take that one off too. Okay, counter out. We got all that life, but why not? Let's counter. Yeah, this is one of those matches where the bouncing is obnoxious. Congrats. Yep. And we draw again. That, if y'all noticed, what feels like the worst lineup of cards is because the way the match is flowing is actually the best. Red Rock, Gravity Tiger, 2 10-drops, 2 7-drops. Like, this is the most lack of counter power ever, right? And because of the way the match is flowing, we still haven't even lost a life. We're just able to bounce their board. Okay, we're debating about something. Okay, we choose to counter out. Another red rock. That should be our leader rest. Yeah. Boom, boom. You can't tell me that's not getting annoying. You just can't tell me that's not getting annoying. And you know what's probably hurting them, and they probably didn't put it in their head, is that every time you're playing that Kid Killer, you're increasing your chances of bottom decking your high drops. So if you're not playing that new 10-drop, the Law Beppo 10-drop, then yeah. Because, I mean, I just saw Shanks. And since I just saw Shanks, I'm just gonna assume your high end is probably not Supernovas. You're probably not playing the 10-drop Beppo card. Okay, there's the block. And then they're probably like, I hope he doesn't have another 10-drop. That's ridiculous. And we don't. But we got some Kirithus. We actually drew 3. Goodness. Yeah, we're just doing harm to their board development. Look at that hand. This is what Bandai was afraid of when it came to bounce cards. Oh, they did have a Shanks. Yeah, this is what they were afraid of when it came to bounce cards. This is what they literally imagined. Just really stopping the opponent. Wow, we have such a huge sequence of like no counter power, but it's been working out in our favor. That's what's so crazy about it. It's like legitly been working out in our favor. Like everything is just having it when we need it. You see how ridiculous this is? Everything is targetable. Everything is having it when we need it. And then even though they have a handful of cards, at some point they're going to crap all those cards out their hand. It's gonna all of them cards because 12K swing, 9K swing. Oh, okay. That actually helps slow things down a bit. I mean, they still got to be afraid of this 10 drop swing. And they only got one life card left. We can afford to counter out or take. We still have 4 life. There it goes. I'm surprised we didn't get rid of the law. We technically can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could technically play put in, and it will actually reduce the amount of cards they have in their hand, making making any other attack easier. But it doesn't matter because I kind of forgot. Yeah, they're gonna just lock down our leader swing, and he had to take because it's 12K. 12K swings are very difficult to deal with. That has to be infuriating. G. Thanks for watching.